After 1 year of using our 1968 vintage camper, I'm going to share with you all the things that we love about it and things that we wish we did differently when it came to the renovation. If you're not caught up on our renovation series, you can check out the first video here where I show you what this thing looked like before. So let's head inside and we'll talk about the things that we love and, of course, the things I wish we did differently. So when I think about the inside of this trailer, I usually think about it in 3 sections. We have the table, seating area here, the middle, which is the kitchen and the wardrobe, and then the bed over there. So let's start with the bed area. For the most part, we kept the original layout of this trailer the same. The only change that we really made was this bed area where we bumped it out a few inches and made the kitchen a little bit smaller and the wardrobe a little bit smaller, so that we could fit a full-size bed up here. This bed is so comfortable. The longest trip that we did in here, I think, was about 3.5 weeks or so, that Arizona trip that we did. And I loved sleeping in this bed. I was so comfortable. It was so easy to be on a longer trip here. I'm really, really happy with the extra space that we decided to put in this mattress. We were able just to buy a normal full-size mattress. I didn't have to spend extra money on some custom made size. And it's just worked really, really well for us. Originally, this was kind of a convertible couch / bed area. And we knew since we had the table area back there that we really wouldn't need this to be a convertible space. So we also really liked that we just kept this area a bed area. So that's one of the things that we love that we did up here. One of the things we did that we not necessarily don't love, but just don't use at all is under the mattress. So the mattress here, underneath here, there's like a board basically that the mattress is on, and we cut a big hole in that so that we could have a door to put stuff in under the bed. So under the bed there's a storage area which you can access from these cabinets down here. But we were thinking, okay, that's a pretty small opening and this is a big area. Maybe we could have a little door up top here to put bigger things in, and we have never used that. This mattress is not easy to lift up. So to lift up the whole mattress and then open that hatch to put something in there or take something out is just not practical at all. So that was kind of something we did that we just definitely didn't need to bother with. So the storage area right now underneath the bed, we just put extra blankets in there, sleeping bags. We actually have a lot of storage in this trailer. We don't use it all. So there's not a ton under there on this side, but the doors under here have been totally fine for what we wanted to use this storage area for. The other side of underneath the bed area, the other storage is accessed from the outside, and that's been good. We have just a lot of the trailer things under there, like I think our spare tires there. What are they called? The wheel chocks and just other trailer stuff goes on that side. One thing that I'm so glad that we did, and this was based on a comment that someone left on my video, we weren't sure what to do underneath the mattress. So if you just put the mattress on wood, it's going to get moldy and mildewy over time. And so originally I was like, okay, maybe we'll drill some holes in that plywood. Not really loving that solution, but then someone commented about this product that you put under the mattress that kind of helps aerate it between the wood and the mattress. And I love that. That was a perfect solution. And I checked before this trip that we're on, and so far there's no mold or gunk under the mattress between the wood. It's dry down there, and so that seems to be working really great for us. One of the other things I love that we did in this area is the blackout curtains here. So of course at night it makes things dark, even though when you're out camping it's usually pretty dark unless there's a moon, and then the moon can be really bright. So actually these are really nice for those full moon kind of nights, but they work really well for blocking light, but also helping to keep the trailer cooler, which is something, again, I didn't really think of when I was choosing this. When we were down in Arizona during the day, it would get pretty hot even in the winter when we were there, and being able to kind of close off the side of the trailer that is in the sun really helped keep it a lot cooler down here. So I would say most of the time we actually keep the bedding area kind of closed like this. So that's kind of it for the bedding area. Not much that we wish we did differently other than just not bothering to cut that little hole out of the plywood, but it doesn't really harm anything. It just hasn't been useful. So let's move on to kind of the middle of the trailer. So now we have the kitchen area and the wardrobe area, which is kind of the center of the trailer. The main thing that we chose not to do with the kitchen is put in a stove. And I could not be happier with that decision. We use this space a lot for all sorts of things. And if we had put a stove in here, that would have cut down on the usable space here. And I have just not had a problem going outside to cook with my propane stove. Of course, I guess if it's like really bad weather, maybe that wouldn't be as enjoyable, but I would prefer to cook outdoors than being in here. And so not having the stove really made things a lot simpler because we didn't need to worry about propane being tied to the stove. And I just had a lot of safety concerns about the stoves that I looked into. And then I thought to myself, you know what, if this stove breaks, then I'm stuck with just like a hole in this butcher block. And I have to either buy the exact same stove or just kind of cover up the hole, I guess. So it just was something I decided not to deal with when we were doing the renovations, and I'm happy with that decision. The sink is still not hooked up after a year, so I don't have any feedback on that. It's mostly just housed to a bunch of towels and paper towel and a few other random things. I want to hook this up. We have the water jugs under here and the pump and everything to do it, but we just haven't gotten around to it because it's easy enough just to use the water spout in our water jug outside on the tailgate. This was never intended to be drinking water for us. I just thought this would be a nice area to brush our teeth, wash our hands, that kind of thing. I still want to hook it up, but we just haven't really felt, I don't know, the big need to do it. So we just still haven't done it. I don't necessarily regret putting it in. It's just maybe we didn't need it. The kitchen backsplash is a little bit of a mess. This was not super fun to install, although I do think we made it harder than it needed to be. I think the issue with this is more user error, not necessarily the product. I don't think this is the ideal surface to stick it onto. We have a lot of temperature extremes in here. And then I think the big mistake we made with this on this particular side is these were pieces that were like pasted together from what we cut out of the window. And we actually screwed the light and the curtain hook into this backsplash. And I think that twisting motion kind of like pulled it and made it worse. I like the idea of this kitchen backsplash. It just doesn't look great, mostly on this side. The thing is with this, I don't really think I would want to do anything differently. I wouldn't want to do actual tile back here. I don't like those peel and stick panels that look really cheap. And I think those also probably would fall off. So I do like the idea of this, and I would be willing to try it again, maybe cutting it differently and maybe just gluing it to the back. I don't know. So yeah, maybe next year we will redo this. I've been looking online for a different pattern. I found one that I really like that I think will go well in here. And then maybe we'll finally hook up the sink. One of my favorite things that we put in this trailer is the fridge. This was not something originally we thought that we would do. We thought we'd just continue to use our cooler, but the more we got into the renovation, the more I thought maybe it'd be really nice to have this fridge. So this is a 12-volt fridge. We love it. It's so nice to not have to deal with ice. This was the most expensive thing that we bought for the trailer, but it has been so worth it, especially for these longer trips where we're coming out here for weeks at a time. It's just really nice to be able to keep things cold in here without having to replenish ice and deal with melted ice in the cooler. So this actually holds a lot of food. I'm always surprised by how much I can fit in here. And it's just been one of my favorite things that we decided to do for the trailer. Now, when it comes to the wardrobe, like I said earlier, we did take off a few inches from what the original layout was, and we went down to one door. So originally this was bigger with 2 doors, and I think some drawers that we just didn't feel like would be useful. So we did one big door, and there's a little door on the bottom, but mostly just this one door that opens to this big area. It's kind of a mess down there right now, but there's plenty of space in here for all of our clothes. I mean, we have a ton of stuff packed. We have not found that we needed more space than this. So this has been really great. I love having the single door, and we've had no issues with it. We have a little magnet here, so it does clip shut like that. So when we're driving, it doesn't open and close. And that's just been perfect. So very happy with the decisions we made in this area as well. Now over here on the side of the wardrobe, so the doors right here, this heater came with the trailer when we bought it. And had it not come with the trailer, I don't think I would have thought to buy one or to put one in here, but we love this thing. In the evening or in the early morning, it is just so nice to be able to pop the heater on, and this thing heats up this space so quickly. It's really easy to use and we have just loved it. It really allows us to kind of come out here in a bigger range of temperatures and still not be totally freezing. So this has been great. So happy that the trailer came with it. And like I said, we wouldn't have probably thought to do it, but it's really one of our favorite features in the trailer. The heat and the fridge is just two luxuries that I love. So I think that's it for the middle area. Now we can talk about the seating area. This is our little seating area. It is so cozy, so much space. Again, this trailer does not feel small or cramped. It really feels, yeah, just spacious, and like I'm never feeling like I need more room. This is where we sit, we'll eat, have our coffee, hang out, play games, whatever. This is just like a nice area. Sometimes I'll work here with my computer. So this area, we kept the original layout and size of the trailer. The main thing that we did differently was this upper shelf. And it is one of the things that I love that we did. So originally up here, there were just cabinets similar to the kitchen cabinets with little doors. And I just thought it'd be fun to do an open shelving up here and have this cool like curved wood in the back, which we did with some cedar panelings, and it comes down to here. I just kind of thought it would look cool. I wasn't really thinking about the functionality of it, but it turns out the functionality is the best part of this. So when I'm sitting here doing whatever, I love that I can just easily reach up here and grab things. So this is just my current knitting project. I'm knitting a Santa hat for Nick. And so I'll just be working on this and then I can just pop it back up here, no problem. And so being able to access this shelf really easily is nice. And without all these tiny little doors, it's so easy to just pop up here and get something big and bring it down. And so had we put the cabinet doors up here, we wouldn't have really been able to fit very much up there. It would have been a lot harder. But here I can just take like my whole computer bag down and easily put it back up. You know, it's just so nice and functional up here to have it open like that. There is a lip up here, which is nice so things don't slide off when we're sitting here, but when we drive, I do take everything off and put it on the floor. So a few other things that we love about this trailer is the fact that it is an off-grid trailer, and that is all Nick's doing. He handled all of the wiring and the electrical that goes in here, but this place completely runs off of our solar panels. So we have two solar panels, one on the roof and one that we're able to kind of move around and we can follow the sun with that one that we just put outside. We did need to get a second panel. Originally, we didn't have one, and we found that the fridge does kind of eat up a good amount of power. So when we're camping in the winter, when the days aren't as long, we did need the second panel, and I think probably would need it even in the summer as well. But we've been pretty good on power since then, and it's so cool that we don't need hookups anywhere. We can just really go wherever, and all of our lights and everything are powered off of the solar power. They're all LEDs, so the lights draw very little power, and then we have little areas where we can charge our phone or a computer or something. That's pretty simple for the wiring and the electrical in here. There's not much more to it than that. The last thing I want to mention for the inside is that we love that there's no bathroom in here. Honestly, the bathroom I think would have complicated things so much, and then having to deal with the waste and keep everything clean, and it just would be such a pain in the butt. And so I am really glad that we don't have to deal with that. This is technically like a dry camper, so we don't have to worry about piping or things freezing in here, and it's just so much easier to not have the bathroom. The last thing that I want to update you on is the carpet. Do we like the carpet or not? The floor is pretty dirty right now because we've been out here for a week and a half and I have not vacuumed. This is just a simple, like kind of cheap washable rug. And then we did end up putting the carpet down on the floor. And I am happy to report that we love the carpeting. We have not had an issue with it. It's easy to vacuum, and we leave our shoes outside. And so it just, I mean, it's kind of, there's hair and dust and whatnot on the floor now, but it hasn't been like gross. We haven't had an issue of it just, yeah, getting really dirty. Over here, so the door is right here, we kept a piece of carpet that we put on top of the carpet. And that's nice because, you know, that's kind of where things get the dirtiest, is right at the door. One time it was snowing and we did bring our boots inside and had them on this rug, kind of keeping the actual carpet nice. And then this rug is washable, and so it kind of keeps this high traffic area, the rug underneath, pretty nice as well. So far that's been great. It's cozy in here, which I really like. I normally wear my slippers around here, and yeah, carpet so far has been awesome. Throughout this entire renovation project, there are things we would have done in a different order had we had a different space to work on this, but we ended up painting it at the end. We didn't pay to get it like professionally painted like you would a car or something like that. And I was kind of questioning how well the paint that we did do would hold up over time. And after a year of use, it still looks pretty good. I mean, there are a few spots, actually not right here, but I'll show you over there, where it is kind of chipping a little bit, but it still looks really good. So I'm pretty happy with that as just sort of like a budget DIY paint option, where it still looks good from a distance and even up close, but we didn't actually spend a ton of money to get it done, I guess, more properly. Overall, we are so happy with this trailer. I love it even more than I thought I would. It's just allowed us to do more things, and it's still pretty easy to tow, pretty easy to care for, and so cozy and comfortable inside while still feeling like we're camping. I don't feel like it's so luxurious inside that we're not really like enjoying being outdoors. For us, it's really been this perfect blend of kind of enjoying the outdoors, but having a few more comforts inside and just a cozy place to return to on longer trips where I can kind of stand up like normal and still sleep pretty good. This is gonna be our last trip for the year, and then we're gonna cover this thing and hopefully get out again in the springtime. That is the update on our little camper.